Just ahead on CTV News, we get insight from the county council on how the next county executive will be selected. Plus, police are still on the hunt for a suspect who shot a teenager 2 years ago. And Simon Buggs brings us our Tuesday sports page. Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening, this is CTV News for November 12th. I'm Michaela Newton.
And I'm Mariah Jalad. Thanks for joining us. With County Executive Angela Alsobrooks heading to Congress, who will take the reins as the county's next top leader? Well, that decision has yet to be determined, but what we know is that if Alsobrooks resigns by December 3rd, there will be a special election to fill her remaining term. Council Chair Jolene Ivey says if Alsobrooks stays on as county executive and resigns closer to when she's expected to be sworn into the U.S. Senate, then the county council will have to appoint a new county executive. If this happens, the appointed county executive must be a current council member and get 6 votes from the full council. However, if the council cannot come to an agreement, then it's the sitting chair who will serve as county executive.
Some people will say, well, let it be up to the voters, a special election.
It is entirely up to the county executive which way she goes with this. I think there are pros and cons on both sides. Whatever she does, it's up to her, but we need a good county executive to replace her, and I think I'm the best person to do that.
No word yet on what Alsobrooks intends to do.
And Democrat April McClain Delaney narrowly won a U.S. House Senate seat in one of Maryland's most competitive races, which centered on reproductive rights and the economy against her opponent, Republican Neil Parrott. Now, her district stretches from rural Maryland to the more affluent liberal suburbs of Washington, D.C. The race was so close it wasn't called until Saturday, 4 days after Election Day. Now, McClain Delaney, who declared victory Friday, said she's honored and humbled by the trust voters have placed in her. Meanwhile, election boards around the state are back at work counting the remaining votes from the 2024 elections following a series of bomb threats. The State Board of Elections has confirmed that the FBI is investigating what appears to be a coordinated attack from overseas that targeted 15 Board of Elections offices in Maryland, including right here in Prince George's County. Other states were also targeted. Investigators say the threats were issued by email. Officials say the incidents did not disrupt the canvassing process, and the investigation continues.
President-elect Donald Trump continues to assemble the team that will lead his new administration. Among his key picks are Florida Senator Marco Rubio, who has been tapped to serve as Secretary of State. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem has been selected to be the nation's next Homeland Security Secretary. And the president-elect has picked Susie Wiles as his new chief of staff. Wiles had served as a senior advisor to his 2024 presidential campaign. And New York's Elise Stefanik, who is also one of Trump's staunchest backers, has been selected as the next ambassador to the United Nations. Also among the nominees, Trump has named immigration hardliner Stephen Miller as his next chief of staff for policy. Trump's selection will face Senate confirmation. And the Prince George's County Council is moving forward on a resolution that encourages the county public school system to institute a cell phone ban in its classrooms. Wanika Fisher is a sponsor of the resolution and says even though the council does not have legal authority over PGCPS, it's still important for her to make this recommendation.
Not only does it help the community become aware that this is a problem, it really sends a statement to the school board and to the administrators there that the county government is looking to seek that. We have to take a stand for our children, and school needs to be a safe place, and a place that, you know, with 60% of our county budget invested, that we're getting the most out of it, and most of all, our kids are getting the most out of their education.
And the Maryland General Assembly will hear a bill proposing a statewide public school phone ban in next year's session.
And Prince George's County detectives are still searching for the person who shot and killed 13-year-old Jays Agnew. Now, Agnew was shot and killed while raking leaves in his front yard 2 years ago. Now, PGPD is offering up to $25,000 to anyone with information that leads to the arrest and indictment in the Temple Hills homicide. Now, following the 2-year anniversary of Agnew's death, police went to Jamison Street hoping to reach as many residents as possible, trying to find answers and bring justice to Agnew's family.
These cases, when they happen, and the tragic death of young Jays, the 13-year-old Jays, 2 years ago, we're going to continue to come into these neighborhoods and ask for information, ask if anybody wants to come forward, and we continue to work these cases as if they happened yesterday. And it's important for the community to know that although these cases might fade from the media, they don't fade from us. We continue to work them, and we're going to go out here and just talk to the community.
And callers wishing to remain anonymous may call Crime Solvers at 1-866-411-TIPS.
Well, in some good news, award-winning chef Tobias Dorzen is in recovery and speaking out after being shot a week ago from today. Dorzen and his girlfriend were both found suffering from gunshot wounds after a group of 5 suspects tried to rob them. Dorzen spoke on Instagram over the weekend saying, quote, "My God is the greatest, and if you know me, you know my favorite saying. I'm God's favorite child, one of one." He then went on to thank community members for all the prayers and support he has received. And police are still looking for the suspects at this time. You're watching CTV News. I'm Mariah Jalad.
And I'm Michaela Noon. Still to come, yesterday was Veterans Day, and state leaders gathered to honor a revered Maryland trailblazer.
That's right. We have that story and more after the break.
Okay, Dad, look at you.
I look nice, don't I?
I see you.
Yeah.
Adding your own flavor to fashion comes with age.
Oh, man, that's the best one yet.
Forgetting how to add doesn't. Finding it difficult to work with numbers may be a sign of Alzheimer's.
Dad, are you okay?
An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one.
High school. Yeah.
Hey, Dad. Do you want to talk about what happened earlier?
Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's. Some things come with age. Some others don't.
Love is a lesson that doesn't end. It knows no conditions, so you better buckle in. Love keeps you on your toes. It never stops, only grows. Love isn't easy, it's a commitment, especially when they're being their most resistant. Love is finding the right seat so you can take a breath. But remember, love isn't lax, it always double checks. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. Innovating to prepare students for our fast-changing world. They're skilled experts, discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org.
Police are investigating a fatal 3-vehicle collision that claimed the life of an Oxon Hill man. The victim has been identified as 30-year-old Darius Robinson. Officers responded to Wheeler Road in Temple Hills around 9:25 p.m. on Saturday. Police say Robinson's vehicle collided with a motor scooter and then an SUV. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. The occupants of the SUV were also hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. Anyone with information is asked to call 301-731-4422.
Meanwhile, Hyattsville police are looking for 2 suspects involved in an attempted armed robbery this morning. The incident took place on Baltimore Avenue. 2 suspects attempted to rob an armed Brinks truck. Now, the driver of the vehicle fired his weapon at the suspects, but they fled in a minivan-style vehicle. Now, it's unknown at this time if the suspects are injured, but police say the driver was not injured. And anyone with information on this case is asked to call 301-985-5060.
Meantime, the County Council passes a measure that's expected to help seniors stay in their homes. The Council passed CB 7, the revised Elderly Property Tax Credit. County Council member Edward Burrows, the lead sponsor of the bill, says the measure will raise the eligibility of the tax credit. That means to be eligible, seniors must be in their homes for 25 years to get the tax credit. However, the administration wanted to hold off on the County Council voting on the measure until the work of the task force is completed.
It is a task force that has been established to figure out the best ways that we can support senior citizens. But the reality is that whatever we do will have a price tag. And so you can't task force your way out of a problem. Not a week that goes by that I don't have a senior citizen contact my office in need of support to pay their property taxes or for basic food, minor home improvements. And so we know that our seniors are in desperate need of this, and I'm happy that this will provide some relief for them.
The bill passed with 8 votes and 2 county council members abstaining.
And immigration advocates and civil rights groups are gearing up to challenge President-elect Donald Trump's promised crackdown on immigration. Now, Trump has vowed to end programs that allow immigrants to live and work legally in the U.S., potentially affecting over 1 million people. He also plans to bring back some of his earlier policies, like the ban on travelers from mostly Muslim countries and the Remain in Mexico policy for asylum seekers. Now, according to reports, with Inauguration Day approaching, groups are preparing for what's next on the immigration front.
And millions of Americans have put their confidence in Donald Trump to improve the economy by electing him president for the second time. He campaigned on promises to impose major tariffs on foreign goods and slash taxes on individuals and businesses. Since Election Day, the Dow Jones has skyrocketed, but economists warn that many of Trump's plans could worsen inflation and increase federal debt. One economic think tank estimated that Trump's policies could reduce the country's outputs of goods and services by as much as $6 trillion through 2028. Trump's plans for tariffs could also increase prices Americans are already unhappy about that rose during Joe Biden's administration.
And there's a statewide trend in senior homelessness. According to new data reported by the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development, from 2018 to 2024, there was a 77% increase in adults aged 65 and older facing homelessness. Now, a report from Maryland Matters suggests older homeless people still make up just a portion of the overall homeless population in the state.
Well, as the leader of the Underground Railroad, Maryland native Harriet Tubman led scores of enslaved Africans to freedom. Tubman was also the first woman to oversee a military action during a time of war. On Veterans Day yesterday, the state of Maryland honored Tubman by posthumously naming her a brigadier general in the Maryland National Guard. A ceremony was held at the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad State Park in Dorchester County. Governor Wes Moore called Tubman, who was born into slavery but later escaped, one of the greatest authors of the American story. Among those in attendance yesterday was Tubman's great-great-great-grandniece, Tina Wyatt.
I would just go on and say what I always say about Aunt Harriet is, I love her. I love her for her inspiration. I love her for her faith. I love her for her tenacity and her great ability to discern. And that is what helped her during the Civil War. And she came into the Civil War, into the bowels of slavery after having freed herself to be able to free others and to be able to fight for the Union to continue to attain democracy for all, but mostly to free the enslaved that was there.
Wyatt received the commissioning proclamation on Tubman's behalf. And still to come on CTV News, healthcare advocates gathered today to support a program for young adults.
We have that story and more right after the break.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. see anything different as a pill?
No.
You don't know?
Fentanyl is being mixed into everything now. There's only one thing that will save somebody's life. That is naloxone nasal spray.
Fentanyl, it's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
Really just all about the money.
I just didn't realize that one pill could change your whole life.
More kids should know.
¿Qué color? Perfecto, mijo.
Gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, mijo?
Donating to a pet's medical care is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
You quit smoking and thought, that's that. But here's the thing about lung cancer. By the time you see the symptoms, it could be too late. But now, there's a new scan that can detect lung cancer early when it's more curable. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back. President-elect Donald Trump promised that if elected, his administration would either ensure the government covers IVF treatment for all Americans or require insurance companies to pay for it. Now, with the election behind us, advocates for more affordable fertility treatments are now left wondering what the future holds. Now, Trump didn't provide many details on his plan when he spoke to NBC News back in August, and some are skeptical that the new administration will be able to make significant changes in this area.
And Maryland health advocates rallied today to urge lawmakers to extend a critical health insurance subsidy for young adults. Since its launch, the program has helped nearly 70,000 young Marylanders afford coverage, and supporters argue it has reduced premiums across all age groups on the state's online exchange. They say extending the subsidy through at least 2028 would offer peace of mind for young people who often lack affordable insurance options.
We know that it is important to get as many people covered under health insurance as possible. It not only helps our patients that we see, but it also helps our entire community. As Senator Feldman and others have pointed out, by getting more people insured, this helps subsidize and bring down rates for everyone, because we are all paying for people that end up in our emergency departments and need urgent care, emergency care, and we're subsidizing that through the rates that we're paying. By getting more people insured, we're able to help bring those rates down. And it also helps those young people. When you hear that tens of thousands of Maryland youth have been able, young adults have been able to enroll in health insurance in just the last few years, it's really remarkable.
Lawmakers will consider the proposal when they return to Annapolis in January.
And across the country, more people are starting to travel further to go bowling, and this comes as bowling alleys have been closing across the country. Now, currently, there has been a 32% decline in alleys in the past 2 decades, and the causes range from the decline of steady revenue from bowling leagues and the impacts of the global pandemic causing customers to prefer outdoor activities. However, bowling retailer Bolero has been on a buying spree in efforts to consolidate the industry.
And Six Flags could be considering selling some of its amusement parks in a plan called Project Accelerate. The project plans to optimize the asset base and narrow management focus with a goal to reach at least $800 million in annual cash flow by 2027. Six Flags operates a total of 27 amusement parks, and one of those is right here in Prince George's County.
Well, the holiday season is fast approaching, and so are holiday traffic and delays. Now is the time to make your holiday season plans and prep for a season of travel. But 4 steps that could help save time and money this season are booking flights now, checking passports to make sure they are up to date, enroll in an expedited security program like TSA PreCheck, and ship your presents to their destination ahead of time.
Speaking of the holidays, Dick's Sporting Goods store is getting ready to wheel and deal come Black Friday. Stores are set to open at 6 a.m. sharp on Black Friday with deep discounts up to 50% on select items. You can save $300 on a set of golf clubs. The retailer is also offering free shipping on some orders as well as its best price guarantee, where Dick's will match its competitors' lower price. There are 18 Dick's stores in Maryland.
Meanwhile, Target announced its store hours for Black Friday week and the rest of the holiday season. Now, most Target stores open early at 6 a.m. local time on Black Friday, offering must-have deals with the added ease of the retailer's convenient same-day delivery services. The retailer also announced extended holiday shopping hours of 7 a.m. to midnight from November 30th to December 23rd. And for the fifth year, Target stores will be closed on Thanksgiving Day. And Simon Buggs is here with our Tuesday Sports page.
That's right, guys. It was a great weekend for football. I can't wait to show you what I have in store for today. Don't move, guys, because coming right up, I have some great high school playoff action highlights for you, as well as a recap from the Commanders game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Be right back.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. If you could see you through my eyes instead of your ego, I believe you'd be surprised to see that you've been blind. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Jason, let's go see your room.
That's not right. How was it? Is it good?
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut, the one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink, or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking, now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed, better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead, catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
What up, everybody? Hope you enjoyed your weekend. We begin your Tuesday sports page with some high school playoff highlights. The high school football playoffs continued over the weekend as Flowers hosted Duval for a chance to advance to the next round. Although Flowers didn't score in the first quarter, their defense made it tough on the Tigers, as plays like this pick by the Jaguars had Duval scoreless by the end of the first quarter as well. In the second quarter, that Flowers defense continued to make it hard on Duval as they came up with another turnover due to his fumble on a sack that was recovered by Jags defensive tackle Jordan Williams. And with a short field, Flowers was able to punch one in thanks to his QB sneak from Jaguar signal caller Adrian Favors. Turnovers continued to be a problem in the quarter for the Tigers as they had another fumble. And with another short field, Flowers scored again, and in the blink of an eye, they were up 13-0 on Duval. Despite not scoring in the quarter, Duval made some highlight-worthy plays on offense, such as this angry run by running back Demetrius Spann as he broke off some Jaguars defenders on his way to getting a nice game for his team, as well as this nice completion over the middle from QB Mikhail Tatum to receiver Zachariah Cisse. Flowers scored one more time before the quarter ended, this time thanks to their defense, and they went into halftime up 20-0. And they kept their lead as the team destroyed Duval, beating them 35-3. Meanwhile, over in Largo, the Lions had an uphill battle as the team was down 36-16 on Henry Lackey going into the fourth quarter. Largo tried their best to make a comeback, scoring a touchdown and a two-point conversion, both courtesy of running back Tymon Fox. But the Lions couldn't contain the Chargers' offense as they scored in the quarter also, and Largo's season came to a close as they were beaten by Lackey 57-24. Moving on to more high school football news, Potomac routed La Plata 70-0. Oxon Hill will move on to the next round after beating Guilford Park 35-6. And lastly, Bowie took down Parkdale 36-22. In college hoops news, four-star recruit Marcus Jackson has decommitted from Maryland men's basketball. This decision comes just 2 months after the center verbally pledged to play in College Park. The Baltimore native was the Terps' highest-rated recruit out of the class of 2025. He averaged 15 points and 8 boards for a team thrill this past summer, which is the same AAU squad that current Terps Derek Queen and Julian Reese played for. This decommitment leaves UMD with just one class of 2025 commit in combo guard Christian Jeffrey. Meanwhile, the Washington Commanders took the field on Sunday against a tough team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Washington hung in with Pittsburgh as they had a 27-21 lead going into the fourth quarter. But the Commanders couldn't come up with any points in the final quarter, but Pittsburgh did and won the game 28-27. The team has a quick turnaround as they'll take the field against the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday night. And wide receiver Terry McLaurin, defensive end Cleveland Farrell, and quarterback Jaden Daniels all touched on putting this game behind them and getting ready for the upcoming matchup.
I think it came down to us not really making the plays when we had to. You know, there was moments where we had a chance to get the first down or keep the sticks moving or, you know, get them off the field, and we just didn't quite do that. And like I said, you got to give credit to them because they made us earn everything, you know what I mean? And we knew this game was going to come down to 4 quarters. And just like this game coming up is going to come down to 4 quarters. So we just got to find a way to finish better.
For us, young, hungry team, it's a new group. We have no idea what the future holds. So for us to come out against a team like the Steelers, play a tough game, and not come out on top, everybody in this room can't wait for Thursday. And to have a short week to come out and reprove yourself, it's the best feeling in the world because I know we get to move on quick, so it's good.
Wins and losses are going to happen in sports. I mean, everybody can't be perfect. It's somebody else's day that day. So just how can we go back and bounce back? How can the guys shift their attitude from a loss to a short weekend? How can we go out there and get better for our Thursday night game?
Kickoff is at 8:15. And wrapping up sports, the Terps men's basketball squad blew out Florida A&M yesterday, 84-53. The team is now 3-0 to start this season and will match up next against Marquette on Friday. The Terps women's basketball team was also in action this weekend, beating Duke in a close game 85-80. The Lady Terps will travel to New York to take on Syracuse next tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And that wraps up your Tuesday sports page.
So the Commanders just kind of broke their winning streak there. Yeah, from your perspective, does that bode well for the Thursday game? Do you think they're going to be back and hungry to get another win? Or
I hope so, guys. This, like Terry McLaurin said, they had some missed opportunities. They had some drop passes. De'Ami Brown had a touchdown pass that he dropped. Noah Brown had a drop pass. Zach Ertz, Luke McCaffrey, they had a drop pass. That secondary still needs work as Benjamin St. Juste allowed that Mike Williams touchdown pass. I'm still pissed off about. Hopefully Marshawn Lattimore can come back and make an improvement. But yeah, this team definitely has. They have to lock in. This is the division game. Philly's playing some tough ball. They have to make sure they're firing on all cylinders come Thursday. So we'll see what happens. So hopefully we can pull out a win and bounce back.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, thanks, Simon.
No problem.
Now we're going to get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be clear out, but it will be windy.
And tomorrow is going to be sunny with a high of 52. Thursday we'll still see a high of 52. However, we have a 40 to 50% chance of rain. Friday will be partly sunny. We'll have a high of 56 and a low of 44.
And for our community calendar, tomorrow afternoon, premium whiskey maker Uncle Nearest and restaurant The Black Cow are having a bourbon and cigars night. The happy hour event takes place from 5 to 8 p.m.
And Uncle Nearest Rep will be there to help you pair your bourbon and cigar experience. And music will be provided by DJ Detox. But for more information, contact 301-798-7195.
And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.